Mayor Coombs, members of council, I'm Jim Golden, the city's Director of Finance. This is one of our tape presentations of our priority-based budgeting updates. Priority-based budgeting is an approach to budgeting that we've undertaken over the last few years that evaluates our city programs against the desired results that were identified by the City Council, as well as some key program attributes that are a part of priority-based budgeting. The desired results that were identified by the City Council for the organization for community programs were vibrant amenities and opportunities for all, safe community, a reliable, innovative, and resilient infrastructure, and thriving economic climate. And on this slide, you could see the weighting that was applied to these four desired results by our community through community input that was gathered in 2014. The desired results for governance programs were also identified by the City Council, and they include ensuring timely, responsive, and efficient operations, supporting city operations to be their best, providing clear, inclusive, transparent leadership and collaboration, and developing and maintaining strong partnerships, following local, state, and federal rules, regulations, and mandates, protecting, investing in, and valuing the city's human and physical capital, and prudently managing and responsibly leveraging public funds. Besides these desired results, all of the city's programs are measured against program attributes. And the priority-based budgeting program attributes were identified by the Center for Priority-Based Budgeting that pioneered this approach. The attributes that are used include the mandate to provide a program, reliance on the city to provide the program, the cost recovery of the program, and the portion of the community that is served by the program. So each of our programs are measured against each of these four attributes, as well as their ability to impact the desired results. We have, citywide, we have 1,244 programs that have been identified in this process. 527 of those are in the general fund. And then within those 1,244, we have 737 distinct programs. So we have a number of programs that are offered in multiple areas of the city, different funds as well as divisions and departments. So there is some repetition, but overall there's 737 distinct programs. Also, these 1,244 programs can be broken down that 1,082 of them are community-oriented, while the remaining 162 are governance-type programs. After all the programs are scored against the desired results and the attributes, they are then given an overall score, and they are then placed in quartiles, quartile 1 through 4, with the highest scoring programs placed in the first quartile and the lowest scoring programs placed in the fourth quartile. And they are placed across these four quartiles through a process of standard deviation. So what we're doing is we have been presenting priority-based budgeting updates to the council. We did our first 3 in person. We're taping the balance of the remaining 10 presentations. And so you'll be getting 10 different priority-based budgeting updates taped delivered to you. We have focused on 3 of the attributes through the presentations that we made to the council. The remaining updates will be on the last attribute and the 9 desired results that were identified. And we'll go through, take each of the updates, we'll go through how each program is influencing the attributes or the results. So this is the priority-based budgeting update number 11 of 13. This one is on the 3rd of 5 governance results, desired results and definitions for those desired results. So this is follows local, state, and federal rules, regulations, and mandates result, which we are shortening into the rules and regulations result.
for the purposes of brevity. So what you can see here on this results map slide shows how the City Council defined the overall desired results for governance programs of responsible internal operations and governance. What the council did is they identified 7 different individual result definitions as shown here on this result map. And the one here highlighted in white is the one that we are featuring in this prioritization update. Local, state, and federal rules, regulations, and mandates are followed. So again, we'd be referring to that as the rules, regulations, and mandates result. So what we've done is taking these 7 results definitions. Some of them have combined, so in the interest of making the scoring process a little easier, we have combined 2 sets of these results so that we overall have 5 desired results or results definitions supporting the governance programs. So again, we are looking at the rules, regulation, and mandates in this case. And so what we've done is taken each of our programs, governance programs, and scored them against each of these result measures to measure whether the program influences the desired result and to what degree it helps us successfully accomplish that result. So we've scored our programs from 0 to 4 with a low of 0 and a high of 4, with 4 being given to any program that is essential or critical for us to achieve the overall desired result. So what that means is that if we did not offer that program, then it would be extremely difficult, if not impossible, for the city to achieve that overall desired result of, in this case, rules, regulations, and mandates. And again, this is following rules, regulations, and mandates. A score of 3 would show that a program has a strong influence on achieving that desired result. Score 2 would indicate a program has some degree of influence on achieving the desired result. And a score of 1 shows that a program has a minimal influence on achieving the result. And so in those cases where the city, while it does have some influence, the city could actually not offer that program and still be able to successfully achieve the overall desired result. And then finally, a score of 0 means a program has really no influence at all on achieving the desired result of following rules, regulations, and mandates. Okay, so what we've done here is taken all of our governance programs, and we're showing them here on this chart, broken them down by number of programs and the cost of programs and how they've been scored overall against the 0 to 4 categories. Overall, in the governance area, we have 162 programs, and they make up $20.75 million of the overall city budget. So not as many programs as when we were looking at community-oriented programs. And then in a couple of areas, we do not even have any programs that fall into the governance area. So you'll have nothing showing in municipal court and probation, nothing in power and communications, nothing in public safety. The larger departments that you'll find in the governance area are finance and shared services and public works and natural resources. That's where most of the programs are, most of the dollars are. And in fact, in shared services, you see we have 48 programs of the 162, and over half the budget at $10.89 million. And that's because shared services includes ETS and fleet services, which are both 2 large programs cost-wise when it comes to the amount of capital that we put into those 2 programs for both computers and equipment fleet. So what we will begin to do here is look first at the number of programs and concentrate on those departments or areas that have the most programs in each of these categories, beginning first in those programs that are essential to the result of following rules, regulations, and mandates. We have finance having the most programs at 12 programs. Where programs have a strong influence on the desired results of following rules, regulations, and mandates, Public Works and Natural Resources has 19 programs that fall into that category. And there where the most programs have some influence on the result, it's 14 programs in shared services. And where programs have a minimal influence on the result of following rules, regulations, and mandates, we have 15 programs in shared services. And then where programs have no influence at all on the desired result of following rules, regulations, and mandates, we have 12 programs in finance that fall into that category. Now looking at the cost of programs, falling into the category of being essential to accomplishing the result of following rules, regulations, and mandates. Shared services leads at $2.4 million. Where programs have a strong influence on the desired result, again, and you'll notice shared services is going to lead in each of these 5 categories. They have the most dollars at $4.4 million, having a strong influence on the desired result of following rules, regulations, and mandates. Again, now on some programs having some influence on the result, $801,000, again, shared services. Having minimal influence on the desired result, $1.98 million from shared services. And finally, again, with programs having no influence on the desired result of following rules, regulations, and mandates, the leader in that area, again, shared services at $1.2 million. So again, I have to point it out, from a cost perspective, shared services is the largest department shown here on this summary, and so it does in this case come up quite often as being the leader in each of these areas. So now we're going to take a look just at the general fund programs. So out of the 162 governance programs, 121 of them are within the general fund. So they account for $13.65 million. And so we're going to look at those programs through the use of the Resource Alignment Diagnostic Tool to see how they influence the desired result of following rules, regulations, and mandates. So you can follow along in the prioritization update that you receive with this taping. And we are on page 11 of the prioritization update is where you should be able to find this screenshot. And this screenshot is for general fund programs that are essential to the accomplishment of the desired result of following rules, regulations, and mandates. So in this case, we have 32 programs at $3.2 million, and that's 23.6% of the overall general fund governance budget of $13.6 million. So 20 programs fall into the first quartile, which means that those programs' overall scores against all the attributes and all of the desired results in the governance area, their overall score land them in the first quartile, meaning they get the highest scores overall. So we have 20 programs at $2.6 million. We have 9 programs falling into the second quartile for their overall score. That's $421,000. And 3 programs in quartile 3 for $187,000. So now I'm going to change the criteria so that we will look at the screenshot for those programs that have a strong influence on achieving the desired result of following rules, regulations, and mandates. You'll find this thing on page 11. So I think if I gave you the wrong page on the last one, you probably have found the first one already was on page 10, and this is on page 11. So in this category, we have 10 programs for $2.68 million, 19.7% of the overall general fund governance budget. We have $712,000 of programs for just one program that falls into quartile 1. Quartile 2, we have 3 programs for $873,000. And then we have 3 programs in quartile 3 for $936,000. And 3 in quartile 4 at $163,000. And this is again looking at programs that have a strong influence on the desired result of following rules, regulations, and mandates. So now we are looking at those programs that have some influence on the desired result. And it's on page 12 of your update, and there's 24 programs at $2.12 million, 15.6% of the general fund governance budget. We have 3 programs that fall into quartile 1 for $195,000. 14 fall into quartile 2, $1.12 million. And in quartile 3, 7 programs for $811,000. So I'll change the filter once more so that we will be looking at those programs that have minimal influence on achieving the desired result of following rules, regulations, and mandates. So in this case, we have 19 programs for $1.5 million. It's 11% of the overall general fund governance budget. There are 2 programs that fall into the first quartile at $177,000. 6 programs fall into the second quartile for $731,000. 8 programs in the third quartile for just about $350,000. And then 3 programs in the quartile 4 at $262,000. So the final scoring is 0, which is those programs that have no influence at all on achieving the desired result of following rules, regulations, and mandates. So in this case, we have 36 programs, $4.1 million, 30% of the overall general fund governance budget. In this case, we have no programs falling into quartile 1. We have 1 program at $225,000. We have 12 programs for $2.9 million and 23 programs at $940,000. So overall, we find that looking at those programs that have no influence or minimal influence on achieving the desired result of rules, regulations, of following rules, regulations, and mandates, looking at that overall in the last 2 screenshots, you see that there's 45% of the general fund governance budget, which is 55 programs, that actually account for 41% of the overall, again, general fund governance program budget. And that totals $5.62 million that are for programs that have minimal or no influence on the desired results of following rules, regulations, and mandates. 55 programs, $5.62 million. So accompanying your screenshots, you'll have 2 lists of programs, 162 programs overall, so they're shorter lists. You'll be able to find out from the first list 141 programs that are from the general fund. The second list, the 121 programs. Second list is the remaining 40 or so programs that are from all other funds. You'll be able to look at each individual program to find out how they were scored against this desired result. And you can also find, looking across the pages, what the overall quartile is for, based on their overall score for the individual programs and how they influence all of the attributes and desired results, so the total score for that. So they are sorted by the score against this desired result, and then department, division, and quartile. So you could use those to try to track and look at each of these governance programs to see which ones and where they may score. So if you have questions on any of that information or anything I've presented here in this taping today, feel free to contact me at 303-651-8629 or at jim.golden@longmontcolorado.gov. Thanks for your attention today.